Hi everyone, it's Kendra Dublin and I am back for another video, and we're talking about emotional awareness. And all these videos on emotional awareness are to help us to hear God better, to recognize Him more, and not allowing our emotions to be King and Lord, but allowing God to be King and Lord as we continue to move forward. So in our One and Some series, in our One on Some coaching that we're doing right now, I'm going to ask you some more questions and you tell me true or false. The true or false: I understand how my emotions affect other people. So again, I understand how my emotions affect other people. And you may say, well, why do I need to care about how my emotions affect others? Well, if you don't care about how your emotions affect others, then that means you don't respect others and you don't respect God's creation of humanity or even yourself. And so you have to humble yourself. I'm probably going to say that quite a few times within this series. You have to be able to humble yourself and say, if when I fly off the handle, other people fly off the handle, or when I get triggered, I say things or I act out of character or I do things that can trigger others. If you don't care, then fine, do your thing. But if you care, then that means you'll start to recognize, okay, when I blew up, like it made my friend or my dad or my sister or my kids, it made them feel some kind of way for days on end. And when we allow our emotions to be in such a way that it affects other people, and then we have to be able to check back in with ourselves and say, all right, God, help me to realize exactly what it is that's going on within me, and help me to care enough about the people that are around me so that I am not being a stumbling block to them, so that I am not making their day worse than what it would be because my emotions are all over the place. So true or false, I understand how my emotions affect other people. And if you don't know that, then more than likely, when you do have different breakdowns or triggers or moments in your life, you're not even caring about how other people think. But if you can take a second and say, how are my actions going to affect other people? You have no idea what other people are going through. You don't know if they just had death in the family. You don't know if they just went through something with God that nobody knows. You don't know what just happened with them on their job. You just don't know what's happening with other people. And so when you get triggered, or when certain things happen in your life that allows your emotions to fester, and now you're in your own zone and not thinking about other people because you've allowed your emotions to go all over the place, then you're basically saying, I need to get what I have to get out and I don't care about you. And that's not how we should be as Christ followers. That's not how we should be with other people that we say that we love and with other people that we interact with. And so it's important that we recognize how our emotions affect other people. And when we actually care about other people, then it'll allow us to be wise. As I've said in other videos, it allows us to be wise and caring. And it humbles ourselves to say, you know what? Do I really have to act that way? How can I process this without making other people affected in such a way that it tears them down or it gets them off? So remember, understand how you affect other people. That's going to take time for you to be aware of how you do that. But as you continue to pray, as you continue to meditate on God's words, as you read scriptures and really Genesis through Revelations, but things like even Proverbs, when we go into the book that Solomon wrote, who was the wisest man on the earth, then it helps us to see God and ourselves in a different light, and it helps us to see the people around us in a different light as well. Number 4. Now this one gets almost everybody. I can get too emotional. I can get too emotional. True or false for you? I can get too emotional. Whew. In today's world, Christian or not, everybody just seems to be emotional about everything at all times. I've said so many times, your emotions are not God. Your emotions are not King. Your emotions are for you to be aware of what's happening within you, what's inside of you, but it is not in an indicator, right? It's an indicator for something, but it is not, your emotions are not your God. So you're not supposed to, well, I'm feeling this way, so I'm just going to be how I want to be. No, it's I'm feeling this way and I need to be able to process it. But when you can get too emotional, when things happen with you, or just when you talk with people, if you're just always kind of in an anxious and stressed kind of situation in your life, when you talk to people, you're going to automatically like just get emotional and say things. I mean, you could literally be asking somebody to go grab your bag out of your room, and it's like, go grab my bag out of the room, you know, like it's literally like always too much. But that means if you are always getting too emotional, that means there's something within and that is aggravating and agitating you that you need to handle. And hopefully this one-on-one coaching will be able to help you handle those things. But it is not okay to be overly emotional all the time. Some of us are more sensitive than others, and there's nothing wrong with being sensitive. There's nothing wrong with caring. But when it becomes like these are my emotions and I can be as I want to, and we're not humbling our personalities and our emotions to God, then that's a totally different thing. That's a totally different mindset that you're having, that is not what God has called us to be. So remember, if you find yourself getting too emotional, there's something that should be an indicator for you that something on the inside isn't right. And ask God to reveal that to you. Ask God, what are you so aggravated about? Do a little bit of journaling every time you get really mad and emotional and over the top, and maybe you'll be able to find some different things that, there are some patterns here, and when I'm over here, I'm fine, but in this setting over here, these things are happening. Or it could be all over the place. Either way, you're trying to find these patterns so that you can do better and be better as God's servant, because none of us, all of us really, want to be able to show God's love and mercy and grace as we walk this earth, because not only what we say can uplift and bring somebody to Christ, but it can also push somebody away. So go ahead and dive deeper into those scriptures and make sure you do a better job of understanding how your emotions affect others. And if you're getting too emotional, do the work that is necessary so that you can calm those emotions down through the work of the Holy Spirit. And go ahead and do it today, because tomorrow is too late to be great. And go ahead and stick around for our next video in this series.